All right, let's take a look at the sample code that we're given here to start the racing duels game. So I'm going to look at the Java code, and let's click this button up here in the upper right to expand the code to be the whole window. Let's make this just a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. All right, so this is using the coding game IDE. If you're more familiar with IntelliJ or Eclipse or some other editor, go ahead and copy the code out of here and paste it into your favorite editor. So let's just take a look at what we got. We have one class, right? Just one class there. It's called solution. In that class, there is one method. It is called main, and it takes a string of arguments, and it is a static method that returns void. So this is our classic command line application. Inside main, what do we have? We have two variables, a variable called in, and a variable called the capital letter N. In is of type scanner. So this is a text scanner that comes with Java so that we can read input coming from the command line. So we instantiate this variable with a new scanner object. And then we have this other variable, capital letter N, which is of data type int, so it is an integer. And we're going to fill that integer with the next value that comes over our standard input, right? If we remember back, that standard input is going to be the number of horses. So we're going to get the number of horses and store that in the capital letter N. Now we're going to loop from 0 to however many horses we have, and each time we go through that loop, we are going to get another value from the standard input and store it in an integer value called pi. And this is going to be the strength of the horse that comes in. So we'll loop through that. If you want to jump to your Java docs for the for loop, go ahead and check that out. We have an initialized section, we have the conditional, and we have the iterator. Go ahead and check that out if you want a little bit more help with the for loop. And then after we get out of that for loop, we're going to just do a system out and print the text answer. So that's the code that's going to run, and let's actually see that run. So let's run all of our test cases. So the object that we want to go through here is to meet all of these test cases. Let's see what happens when we run them. So the simple test case fails. Horses in any order fails, and many horses test case fails. That's not surprising, right? Because we're not producing the two closest strengths. We're just putting out the word answer, which is not a number, right? So we're never going to meet these test cases here. Let's take a deeper look at some of these test cases that we're running here. We can see um, that our test case failed. Let's take a look at that simple case. One of the reasons it failed is because we got the output of answer when it expected the value of 1. If we were doing something like test-driven development, we could just put a 1 in here. And if that works for this simple test case, that's awesome. Cool. What about this horses? What is this called? Horses in any order. Still just outputting a 1 gets those values. Now if we run a custom set of custom values here, so if we have 4 horses, this works. We have 3, 5, 8, and 9. We expect a 1, but what if this was a 19? Oh, we should expect the value, let's see, 2 in this case. right? That doesn't work. So just hard coding will work for a few cases, but not for all of them. We actually should do some kind of testing here. So we'll need to rewrite this to meet all of these test cases, and we can write in our own custom test cases to see what else we can come up with.